What is a good quality pellet? So we're doing our Saturday morning rabbit feed run, and we're at the feed mill because that's where I get my feed from. This is your standard feed mill. They do all their own mixing here. So if I choose to create my own mix, I can actually bring in stuff and have them mix it for me. Then we come in and we ask Earl, and Earl sets me up with my feed. Today we're getting 3 18% and 1 16%, and I will show you the bags as soon as we get them picked. So this is what we picked up this morning. This is Kalmbach feeds. All right, it is for the most part alfalfa meal, and the rest is hulls, which are basically just fiber additive. See shit from Royal King looks like. See how there's like actual green to this. This is actually a green pellet because the base in this is alfalfa. This is mostly alfalfa because for the protein and nutritional content, there's also probiotics added. All of the vitamins and supplements that are needed are pre-mixed into this. Right, and the fiber content is upped with this by using soybean hull, not the actual soybean itself, just the outer casing, because once that's ground up, that does add a little extra fiber to the mix, because alfalfa is not as high in fiber as some actual grass hay, so they do that to balance it. So this is a balanced pellet. So this is a high quality 18% balanced pellet. I have some bags here. ADM, Pen Pals. This one is my favorite. Mana Pro Select Series Grow Feed. This is my third place one. It's still decent, although it depends on what part of the country you're in. This is the 18%. What we're currently feeding is Kalmbach because our feed store is no longer carrying ADM. This is also pretty decent. This is also a good quality feed. I'll walk through these real quick. This was my personal favorite. We had 18% protein, which was good for nursing does, pregnant does, and grow outs. I switched to 16% for bucks and for basic maintenance. This was dehydrated alfalfa meal, and then millings, and then goes down from there. But alfalfa is going to be number one. You get your feeding instructions, which basically work out proper feeding for a rabbit is 1 ounce of feed per adult pound of body weight. Okay, this is the Mana Pro Grow Series. Again, 18%. This is for my does and grouts. That's the breakdown. Again, we start with alfalfa meal because it's mainly alfalfa is what's in most of this, and then what the breakdown is. And then the Kalmbach, this is also an 18%. This was the Best in Show 18%, and that's the breakdown. And again, alfalfa meal, and then we go down from there. Now, my preference is not to have soybeans so high up in the ingredients, but that's what I have to feed right now because that's what's available. I do switch between grow sometimes, but it's been harder to get this too because, I don't know, Tractor Supply is having trouble getting it. This is corn and oats. This is what you do not give to bunnies. This is my sheep feed and my chicken feed. Then to show you grade 1 of what I refer to as really shitty feed, and this is only here because the dude that brought back to my 2 does was feeding Country Roads rabbit pellet from Royal King, even though I believe I tell everyone not to get this because this has actually killed some of my rabbits before because they screwed around what they put in it. Country Roads, which I fed for a little bit because we were between being able to get feed at our regular feed store. Now you saw the other stuff, first ingredient alfalfa. This stuff, first ingredient wheat millings, and there is no 18% version of this. That's all that they make is the 16. It's not good. Alfalfa second, and then there's corn in here. Lots of corn. They added corn to the rabbit feed. Not feed your rabbits seeds and corn. Now, sunflower is a different story. We'll get into that later. But typical like bird seed and all that shit that you see in like the Katie feeds with all the extra colors and bullshit that you get at the pet store, horrible for them. Rabbits don't digest corn. It is just one of those grains that causes inflammation in their guts. It is really, really bad for them. I have literally had that kill one of my does at one point because we went to the country roads for a week because that's all we could get, and that was with transition with the leftover food. And she bloated and she died within like 5 days. So we don't touch this shit anymore. This is calf manna. This is not rabbit food. This is a performance supplement. So what this is intended for is, again, this is given as a top dressing. The reason it's only given very little bits amount as a top dressing because this is 26% protein. So very high protein. It's good for the does like nursing moms and rabbits that need a little bit of a boost. They really do like it. It's very tasty as far as they're concerned, but this does contain corn because it's a performance supplement. So they can only get a very little bit at a time. At most, it'll be rabbits that need very high energy requirements, like pregnant and nursing moms, especially when they got big litters. And they're only going to be getting this about maybe top dressing. So we'll throw about this much, depending on how many are in there, maybe like about this much total. So they'll get about this much of the top dressing added to the side or on top of their pellets. But this is not a standard feed. Manna Pro is the company and Calf Manna is the supplement. Is they've grabbed the Calf Manna thinking it's rabbit food. It's not rabbit food. You should not be feeding them straight Calf Manna. They'll end up getting sick. And straight calf manna might actually kill them because it's not formulated as a regular food. It's formulated as a small dose supplement. So okay, and this is a mix that is still technically safe for rabbits, but this is treat only. The majority of this is beet pulp shreds. Sometimes we will put this in moisture and soften it up a little bit, but this is beet pulp is basically high fiber and a little bit of sugar, so like it's a general snack. This is kind of more for the sheep to give them a little extra bulk at times when it's needed. And what's also in here was this is alfalfa Timothy horse pellet, which you see is a lot bigger than your standard rabbit pellet. And again, everything in here is safe for the bunnies to have, but these are more treat things. But this is pure pellets for grass and grass Timothy mix. This is only I think it's either 12 or 13% fiber, or excuse me, 12 or 13% protein, but it's a higher fiber content. But again, we use these more as like treats type things. They don't get a lot of it. And it is a bigger pellet, so they can play with it a little bit longer. There are other ways to feed this, as you can go ahead and moisten this and turn it into kind of a mush, which sometimes we'll do over the winter. Like I said, mainly for sheep, and when we had goats, we'd make more mush for them. But this is, again, this is filler content, this is treat content, and this is mainly stuff that I use to mix in for the sheep.